And I'm going to share with you the 2024 Michigan Design Council's announcement for the M Prize or the Michigan Design Prize. So I want to introduce to you a little bit about the Michigan Design Council, talk about what it is to be a designer, inspire all of you that you can also take the tools and the skills of being a designer and apply them to problem solving in your life and in your classroom. And then we're going to look at some examples of past M Prize entries so you can get a flavor of what you can do as an individual and what you can do as a team as well as you enter the M Prize Challenge. So the Michigan Design Council is an organization here in the state that promotes Michigan as the destination for industrial design. And through that, we grow the economy. There's a lot of talent development from K through 12 students like yourselves that are participating in challenges like this. And then our organization helps connect professionals and industries to the power of design that we have here in the state of Michigan. We actually have more designers in Michigan than any other state in the country. Even states that have more people, we have the highest per capita percentage of designers here. And that's because of all of the automotive designers, of course, in the Detroit metro area. And then even on the west side of the state, there's furniture design and appliances and shoes that are all designed on the west side. So there's a huge ecosystem on both sides of the state that is the reason why we have such a strong passion for design and celebrating that and getting it in front of students like yourselves. So sometimes I get questions about what is industrial design specifically. It's not necessarily just engineering. It's not just drawing pictures like a fine artist would. It's really the mix of the two. Design is the intersection of art and technology, creating products that improve our lives with a functional innovation and an emotional attachment to understand why we fall in love with a product. Why do we love a brand? So it's the mixture of two. How I want a product to work, yes, is important as a designer, and then we work with engineers to execute that. But also, how do I want to feel when I experience a product? Why do I love it? Why do I trust it? Why do I feel excited about that product? So knowing that is the art side of communicating emotions through a product. So every year we launch a different topic. And for the 2024 Michigan Design Prize Challenge, we're looking at a topic that is a challenge actually that's put out by the state of Michigan. And so they're looking to have innovation in our national parks, not our state parks. There are great state parks throughout the state of Michigan, but this is specifically looking at the national parks that exist. And we want to help people improve access to those parks so they can have a better experience having mobility to get to the different areas, arrive at the front of the park, travel through the park, whether it's as an individual or it's as a group. So we want to look at concepts that help users get through those national parks, have a fun, safe, and exciting experience, and look at any of the challenges that exist along that journey. So it could be for setting up camp, it could be for sightseeing, it could be hiking. So we have a list here of the different areas that are just thought starters. We're really open to anything that improves the experience of enjoying a park. So that's great for students. You guys can take this depending on what type of class you're using this for. If you're doing this in a tech program or you're doing this in an art class, as long as you identify a problem or an aspirational experience that you can imagine could make a park experience better. You can look at one of the parts like Sleeping Bear Dunes, which is a national park, and build an experience around that and then think of a way to improve how much fun, safe, or exploration you can have in that park. So there is information about this topic that is actually out there from the state of Michigan to the design industry and corporations that are looking to partner and develop prototypes there. So your students here, you're coming up with an idea, but actually there are professionals out there working on the same exact topic. And you can find links to that on our website if you want to get more information about that. So just want to talk about who is a designer. I am a designer as my profession. I work at a place called Sunberg Farrar, and I am president of the Michigan Design Council. And you can see in this photo here, I have been in love with creating things since I was a little kid. I'm sure a lot of you play with Legos, and that's where most of us start. I then went to college at the College of Creative Studies in downtown Detroit. And there I was my senior year presenting a project I worked on to the General Motors team. And then there on the right, I was at a trade show called CES presenting a robotic car prototype that I worked on. So I've been really fortunate to work on a lot of different products. Starting here with a supercar that was something I sketched pencil and took that project all the way from a pencil drawing to CAD designing it, and then working with the prototype team to build a show car. And then I worked in the hockey industry doing helmets. So if you're a hockey player and you know the brand Warrior, I worked on designing that helmet, the Crown 360. And I've even worked in the kitchen appliance industry doing coffee makers and things that you might actually have in your house. Here's a more recent project where I got to work on a robotic car. So, yes, supercars are awesome, but robotic cars that are almost like Transformers are kind of even better. And this was looking at crazy off-road experiences or things as serious as tsunamis or earthquakes where an ambulance can't quite get to people. How could you get a robotic vehicle to climb over the debris and get people out of that situation? So, any one of you, I want you to know, if you practice these skills, you are a designer and you have the ability to think and create like a designer. So anyone who can imagine a new possibility or work to solve a problem with a product is an industrial designer. And if you look at the function and you look at the emotion, that's the difference of what a designer is versus a programmer or an engineer who's really focused on making sure that that solution works. Designers imagine the solution, create it, imagine a new experience. So what does a designer do? Designers learn about people and their desires or their problems. So you think of an idea and you have to make a plan. You have to draw out an idea. So it's really important that we explain ideas through drawings. And those can also be computer illustrations. But the goal is to explain to others the impact of your idea. Why is that idea meaningful? And sometimes it solves a problem, but sometimes it creates an experience that doesn't even exist yet. And that's where we'd like to talk a lot about desires and problems, or desires or problems, one or the other. And being able to tell that story is super important. So that's why the submission to the M Prize is questions that help you think through how to articulate your solution. How do you think and act like a designer? Think about improving the life of others, not just yourself. So ask questions like, how can you make an experience better, easier, or more enjoyable? What can you improve that doesn't exist yet? What problem can you solve? And so it's okay if you start with yourself and an experience you have or a problem you've experienced. But really taking it to the next level is when you think about someone else and you put yourself in their shoes. The term empathy is looking at someone else's experiences and trying to design a solution or create an experience for someone else other than yourself. And if you do that and define that and explain that story, it makes a really compelling design submission here. Try your ideas out. Don't be afraid to fail. This is something I know you kids are really great at. And actually, as we get older, it gets harder because we learn to try and avoid failure. But failing is just a way to learn that something didn't work. And it helps your idea be even better the next time. So don't be afraid to fail. Actually embrace that. And it's something as designers, we have to practice all the time. That sometimes something doesn't work, it's okay. It actually means that the next time you're one step closer to getting something that will work. So practice ways to show or explain your ideas to others about how your idea works and why it's important. And that's through multiple different tools. And so with the submission here to MPrize, you're writing your explanation, but you're also able to submit drawings or photos or videos. And this is where prototyping or sketching something out helps the judges in the competition understand your idea better. So any way that you can communicate how your idea works and why it's important to somebody is really useful. So get creative and think about different ways to tell your story. So a reminder, we are designing a physical product that improves access to mobility for visitors of all types. You can pick a certain user type. You can pick the general population, anybody, or sometimes it's very specific to someone with a mobility challenge, let's say. The entries are due March 22nd, 2024. You'll find that on the website as you go to the submission page. And here are the questions. We are using the similar format if you did this last year, where K through 5 answer the first 5 questions. 6th through 8th graders and high schoolers are, should I say high schoolers on here, are also answering those first 5 questions, but then they have an additional 3 questions that get more into the detail about the process and the technology of the design entry. So here's a couple examples of some past entries, and again, we see a lot of entries as teams, and this is what happens when you submit your idea and you work then, if you're selected as one of the finalists, with a pro designer. So this team here was one of the 12 finalists in the state of Michigan, and they worked with a designer here to take their idea for a Crossroads interactive game. And the designer, his name was Josiah here, he worked with the team to take their idea just to the next level and create this CAD model and then rendered out what this experience would look like. Here was another project, totally different topic one year in 2020, and the topic was access to food, healthy food. And this finalist here had an idea about creating a food truck, but not one where you go buy food that's being cooked, but a food truck that grows the food hydroponically in the food truck, and you can go up to it and pick fresh vegetables or fresh fruit right off the food truck. Love this idea. This is a mixture of CAD modeling and photoshopping that the designer did with her to create the final version. It was another team as well. And they got to actually go tour a design studio. This is with the Technit team out on the west side of Michigan. And they did a bunch of brainstorming and ideation together, just pencil and marker drawings together. You can see them in the photo there, whiteboarding it together. And then those designers took that idea to the next level, created this great imagery here, a little bit of Photoshop work mixed with CAD models. And this was a game that students could play in a classroom when they couldn't go outside, but they were social distanced. So this year's topic was creating interactive experiences while still social distancing during the pandemic. So we have a lot of companies around Michigan that partner together to help with these mentorships, and then execute those designs and then come together for the award ceremony. College for Creative Studies has become a big partner of ours. And if you have been to the award ceremony in the last couple of years, we've been hosting it at the College for Creative Studies big auditorium. So if you're a finalist and you're one of those 12 that gets selected, you'll be able to come down to the campus, get a tour, and we've even seen them give out some scholarships to summer camps to some of the finalists in the past. Here's some photos from the award ceremony in previous years. You get to come up on stage, you get a great medal, you get an award. Parents, teachers, everybody gets to come to the ceremony. So it's just a really fantastic event. If you're also interested, on our website, when you go to the submission page, there's also a documentary there that we produced, and it's all about the state of design, which is Michigan. And this documentary follows 3 talented designers through their career paths, because design takes people of all different types of skills. There's a clay modeler named Nate, there's a teacher named Vincenzo, and there's a designer, Matt Korich. So it's great to see their stories and say there's not just one thing to do as you design. Um, you can be in hands-on craft, you can be in CAD modeling, you can be in education. So just hearing and seeing those stories is a great way to kind of understand the world of design. So it's 30 minutes. If you have time, go through that. Share that with your students as well. And don't forget, March 22nd is the deadline. So we will take those submissions, and as soon as March 22nd closes, the team at Michigan Design Council will start critiquing those entries and reading through them all, and picking 3 finalists per age group. And you can see how those break out on our website. So I hope you submit. I'm really excited to see what everybody comes up with this year. And you might see me around stopping in at your classroom to talk about this competition and maybe actually come in and work with some of you. I've done that in the past, and I've really loved coming in and seeing some of your prototypes and development. So looking forward to seeing everybody, and good luck.